very curious to see how this all unfolds, but we do have game number 2, so let's dive on in.
Interesting. Already an interesting thing happened this game, alright? So at the start of the game, Pure buys boots and then uses his Naga illusions and then he sells the boots again. I haven't seen that. It's not a massive impact or anything, but it's a cute little play to allow your illusions to get out there and try to scout something. Otherwise they wouldn't really be able to reach nearly as far as they do here.
That is fairly interesting, yeah. Get a little bit of information.
Yeah, I think he did actually scout out that the illusion was under vision. Now, whether that was the ward or the enemy team being smoked, he can't be 100% sure of. It was both this time.
That's enough out of you.
30 seconds to battle.
Get those consumable balloons getting tossed out as we'll see Amira get hit with the tower.
Yeah, so he knows that there was vision as well. Both teams doing a little bit of vision checking. And I think overall, Entity, they want to go for 4 people bottom here, but they're all being revealed by the Observer Ward. So Toby has to be careful.
Where are you going?
Start with the enchant, the slow. There's the rebound coming into play. Nice spear,
What?
and the
That didn't stun?
Sunstrike gonna be a little bit off Toby, so
Somehow
chasing
he is
him.
alive. He just walks away. That looked like it should have stunned him, but the spear, I guess, just barely didn't have the range to push him against that tree there. But somehow he's alive. I thought for sure Toby would go down. He is going to have to crawl to base, though, and then TP top. So this is already damaging to his laning stage. Broodmother is going to miss out a bit of the start to the top lane.
And they're also seeing that they do a little bit of a lane swap here. Collapse is going to be in the top lane, and they sent Yatoro and Maposhka into the bottom to face off with Pure and Kataomi.
I don't think that lane is fantastic, though, for Team Spirit. Maybe they can win it if they play together like this, harassing the Sven. But Naga against Faceless Void, I think, does pretty well. Not easy to be a melee core against the Riptide when it starts spamming out.
So what is the idea then? Because as we said earlier, you're not going to see a lot of spiders in lanes. You're not going to, yes, Collapse is going to be good against spiders eventually, but that's not something that you have to really be considering early on. So why did they go for the swap, do you think?
I think he just doesn't want to lane into Jakiro and the Brood. And they're chasing Jakiro a little bit here. You see Mars and Marcy, tag team. I think he just doesn't want to lane against the attack speed slow of Dual Breath and the Broodmother on top of that. It would be a pretty painful lane for Faceless Void. But this lane is not much better, to be honest.
Interesting. Maybe they thought that they could harass a little bit more using Maposhka. Perhaps that's the idea. But
Yeah. He's getting farm. I mean, it's not going to be terrible straight away. I just don't think it's necessarily a favorable lane that he swapped into. Both lanes would have been difficult. And top lane, we see a fantastic lead, honestly, on Collapse already. That's CSing. He's at 9 and 6.
I feel like this lane is just so strong. Any lane that has a Marcy, I feel, is just very, very strong. You have to be careful of your positioning, because if you're just even the littlest bit out of position, although they are dishing it right back at Mira. But there's that potential there.
Yeah.
But that dispose over to Fishman, but
A lot of the advantage as well comes down to Broodmother not being there at the start of the lane, right? She had to go base and TP out, so she wasn't there for the first creep wave. So naturally the Mars got a bit of free CSing there, as it was 1v2.
Casual Stormhammer being thrown over onto Yatoro, but again, he's just going to time walk it off. No problem.
It's pretty nice what they're doing. They're immediately killing off the illusions. They steal one with Maposhka, and then they focus down the other illusions, and then the damage of Naga is gone. And that's most of the damage they have in the lane here, is the Riptide from multiple hits.
That's a pretty nice call there. A couple of these couriers coming over from Maposhka, hoping that maybe he can get a snipe on it. Does get hit by Kataomi. It does have a couple more mangoes, magic stick charges, and a clarity, so he knows what his life looks like. But Pure now gonna need a little bit of assistance because they don't have the Stormhammer up for another couple seconds, so a lot of harassment being placed on this Naga.
Yeah, Miposhka is having a great time. Being Enchantress against double melee, she is certainly enjoying her time. And again, gonna try to just focus down the illusions. Look at both of them. Just focusing the illusions immediately. And then the damage is not gonna continue.
Oh, Kataomi. Whew. Sitting a little low. Does have 6 stick charges. In the top lane, they are going for a little bit of a dive here. Putting pressure over on Mira, but again, it just continues to be harassed. No one is hard committed, really.
Yeah, Mira tried to jump in and throw back Fishman, but he's tanky enough and gets protected by his Broodmother, so he'll be fine. And
Got a Centaur creep pickup from Miposhka on the bottom lane, so we'll have that potential for more stun.
yeah, 1400 HP and 8 armor. That Centaur creep is a real bully when it gets to the lane, so Kataomi has to just sit back now. He can't really help his Naga that much. But look at her, she's just stunning the illusions, focusing them down. They really have their approach to this lane. Just always focus the illusions ASAP.
Definitely feels bad if you're Nagas. Let's get stomped over here. A little bit of that slow. From Void, the Sunstrike coming in hot, and that's our first blood going over to Toronto, Tokyo.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that he actually is going for the Exort Invoker. Toronto usually plays Quas Wex, but they do have great stuff for the Sunstrikes here. They have the Chrono as well later on, which is very easy to combine into even before you have Cataclysm. So nice to see him playing the Exort.
Top lane. Lap's getting harassed pretty well, but does have that spear. Just gonna toss Toby back.
Yeah, the illusions are again trying to get some space for Pure to farm here, but he does manage to pull the creeps back with him.
And we're seeing Kataomi make his own rotation towards this mid lane. He's got himself a sentry ward. Might be able to get a D ward over here on the side because they do have the observer.
Yeah.
They'll see it.
They find the obs immediately, so of course the Invoker's gonna stay safe since he had the vision, but bottom lane, a toss back, using the Wild Wing to throw in the Naga. And he's just losing so much HP.
I mean, that is the issue when you do that, but Stormstormer, oh, he gets tossed right back here by Mira with the dispose, so be able to grab the Invis rune and secure the kill. Middle lane though, Kataomi will soak some of this experience since they don't have their mid player up on online right now. Oh, Mira.
He's Invis, Mars coming over, they want to try and kill him.
Nothing like the poop emoji saying, hey, look at this guy over here. This is not looking good for Fishman. He's most likely going to fall.
That goes down quickly, and that is 34 last hits, 10 denies, and now a kill to his name as well on Collapse.
Toby getting a bit aggressive with that insatiable hunger. Does have to be a little careful though. Man, Pure is just taking these impetuses to the face. Ends up losing his courier as well. Look at this. Oh. Ooh, 40 hit points on this Naga Siren.
Yeah,
Now
has to
Pure's
be
got to
careful.
teleport out. He can't stay here.
Yeah,
The value of this Enchantress.
yeah, she did so much work in last game, and now again, the chasing in on Jakiro.
Well, they see Fishman here. Push away, and that's a kill. Sunstrike on Toby, just a little bit off the mark though, not going to be able to quite find it. As there is the chase in the bottom, as Stormstormer does clean up Miposhka finally. Which I'm sure that's going to make Pure feel good because he's been pulling non-stop by the Enchantress in that bottom lane.
Yeah, finally he gets some space to farm in the jungle. He really hasn't been able to stay on bottom lane, and that has freed up now that Yatorogod is getting complete free farm on his Faceless Void finally. Thanks to the hard, diligent work by Miposhka, of course.
Curious now to see where Miposhka is going to move. There's a couple sentry wards currently, and he's going to join up here with Toronto Tokyo in case the rune does indeed pop up.
Yeah, then controlling both sides. They have Marcy checking top. It's a DD rune.
Marcy's just going to grab it. Doesn't want to allow this Jakiro any quarter.
Pretty fantastic start so far for Team Spirits as they are running back towards top lane with Mars now. The Broodmother is the only one who's getting like somewhat back into the game, I would say now, but overall the start for all the cores on Team Spirit is just simply better, and they're trying to make a move mid.
Under attack.
Here, of course, with the double damage, spots out Fishman. Get the dispose. Kataomi, though, jumping in. They might be able to turn this around. Yeah, they'll be able to get the kill on Mir. They will end up losing Fishman. As they do duke it out here in the middle lane. They'll put the pressure over onto this Enchantress Street.
Radiant's
Clean
middle
up.
tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
Exhort Invoker did some damage to the tower as well, but running away. Miposhka has no fear, just walking in on his Enchantress. He was spotted by a ward.
Now he is spotted by much of the team, so Stormhammer, even the TP coming out from Fishman.
Yeah, that's a kill for Naga. Gonna speed up her farm a little bit, and she needed something going her way. The lane has not been that great for her. Over on Spirits, they are sort of ignoring, a bit ahead in the sand now about Broodmother, so their emphasis is not on shutting down her.
Followed with Sunstrike. Mira taking so much damage from this Flesh Strike. We'll toss back over onto Kataomi, and they will be able to get the kill.
Yeah, this is what you want to see though. When a team is playing Marcy, just make rotations, because she is honestly the strongest hero in the game at catching anyone out of position. It's so difficult to stay safe against Marcy.
Collapses, just handling the Broodmother as much as possible. Mira is nearby. Drops down a ward so they can keep tabs or wherever Toby wants to just wander off to these camps.
Yeah, trying to bring Toronto Tokyo as well. They smoke up, but it is under a Radiant ward, so Toby should have seen that. He's backing out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And bottom tower now, finally, they're starting to take a crack at it as they have level 7 on Faceless Void. He got that time walk, feeling pretty safe. And meanwhile, Entity are making a move
Radiant
top.
structures are fortified.
Mars Collapse is feeling it though. He sees nobody on the map right now.
He's already put his points down, so is not
Yeah,
gonna
no
have that
ulti.
arena. Yeah, there's a lot of lockdown coming out from the side of Entity, so that's very dead Collapse. But some pressure over here in the mid lane looks like.
Dire's top tower
Seeing
is
that
under
they're putting
attack.
the
Radiant's
pressure
bottom
on
tower
top.
has fallen.
We'll use the
Dire's
fortification.
structures are fortified.
It is curious that he decided to go for this like 4-3-0-0 build on Mars. I feel like Mars ulti is low enough cooldown and not that costly. You can definitely use it.
Pose. Follow up with the Unleash. These punches do a decent amount, but do have to be careful as the Stormhammer does connect, but Mira's far enough away. Still end up getting the kill on Fishman. The Spirit trying to decide if they want to commit on this or not. Cure is
Sending in
teleporting
the-
out though.
Yeah, just Enchantress with her Centaur, able to get that, securing the kill. Nice jump away and survived by Mira on his Marcy.
Yeah, he's hitting very, very low. Just gonna try to clean up these Enchantress creeps.
Yeah, Yatoro, he does have the full Midas power treads, by the way, and 660 gold. So he's gonna go for a big creep here, get himself a neutral item. The Greed double Midas play from Spirit. Of course, when you run Invoker and Faceless Void, I think it's pretty normal to do the double Midas.
Top lane, they do have the arena now. Not gonna be able to quite land that spear though, as Toby looking to just crawl away. We'll walk into Toronto Tokyo, and they do have the Vision Mirror. Jump forward. And Toby is looking like he is very squashed.
Yeah, he did share all the Sunstruck damage with Spiderlings, but it doesn't really help as he just cannot move. The Orb of Venom slow, the Marcy with the slow from the disposition, and then just the God's Rebuke as well.
Gotcha.
I like how Maposhka's been using these creeps, kind of doing that vision, the scouting, like we saw Beastmaster doing with Hawks in the previous game.
Yeah, it's very important to try and get good intel on where you want to make your moves, and both teams obviously rated very high with the picks that they have.
Radiant
I think
structures are
Entity are going to have more vision advantage going mid and late game here, just by Spiders plus Naga illusions. Mid tower goes down to just 2 Forge Spirits and Mira on his Marcy there.
I didn't even bother to pop any spells during that.
Yeah, just using his sidekick was enough. Nobody wanted to go there risking getting caught out by a smoke rotation, but that's one more tower going down. The advantage is building up for Team Spirit as they're 4,000 gold ahead.
Right now, all three cores on the side of Team Spirit. Currently in the lead. Top of it, of course, is Toronto Tokyo, 7.4k, 6.4 on Yatoro, and Collapse 6.2. They're not too far behind the cores over on the side of Entity, but definitely those Midases coming into play for sure.
Yeah, but the mid lane difference though right now, Toronto Tokyo 3,000 gold ahead basically on his Invoker versus the Leshrac. So having the Midas, having the Travels, and having 1,600 gold already at 13 minutes, this is an absolutely huge
Dire's
Invoker.
middle tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
So what is the play here for Entity, right? Because you have a Broodmother that's trying to put the pressure down in the top lane, and it is kind of just keeping Collapse stuck here for the most part. Like, it seems that he's the one who's constantly dealing with the spiders. That's kind of what his job was in this game.
Yeah, I think you want to use the Broodmother, of course, in the space that she creates, but it's probably just them being reliant on trying to get Leshrac back into the game. So try to create stacks whenever you can. They have stacked up the Ancients at least. Leshrac can farm Ancients. It's not, you know, super fast like some other heroes.
Okay, the
Oh,
jump
Arena.
over onto Pure, follow up with the Sun Strike. There's just too much damage. That Naga Siren evaporates.
Yeah, and Marcy pairing up with a Kobold Foreman creep is so fast.
I love this creep. A bit of a tornado being used over on Toby. The follow-up, Mira's here. Be able to work back over onto Toby. Bringing over the spider babies, but there's a deafening blast. Going to be able to disarm. Just need like 1 or 2 more clicks, and the spear will be able to secure the kill.
This is the slowest, most brutal death for a poor little Broodmother, just getting beat down. They didn't even have many spells remaining there. No spear anymore, but just the clicks. Yeah, right now it feels like they don't have a hero to play around on Entity. The Broodmother didn't have the best laning stage, and the Naga Siren, same can be said there. She also would want to farm jungle no matter what. And it all comes down to, can you play around the Lesh? But at this stage, I think Marcy is a little bit too strong as a rotation hero compared to this Dekiro, Sven, and Lesh.
It's wild to
trying
let you
for a
look at
smoke.
Middle tower.
you look at Marcy's items, and she just doesn't have hardly anything, but she's so effective. This hero is busted.
Yeah, she will probably get some post-TI nerfs, I suspect, but we get to enjoy her in her finest form here.
Smoke does end up getting past Toronto Tokyo, and Mira standing nearby. Throw down a meteor. Collapse, a
Oh
nice
my
blink
God.
forward, gets 2 into the arena, the hop down. They should be able to finish off Toby here too, but Mira is going to tick down, plus those spiders chomping all over. Oh, but the little seeds. The seeds of Serenity. And the sidekick being able to stay alive a bit more. There's another spear over onto Fishman. He has been left behind. He's hoping he can get denied, but no, Yatoro will still be able to get the kill.
Yeah, Team Spirit are just able to do whatever they want there. Beautiful catch with Tornado, the meatball coming in, and then comboing with the Mars as well. Right now it feels like all of the cores on Spirit are just growing really fast, but they also just pop together and use their spells. They still have the Chronosphere even, didn't even need to use it there.
That's to say, you know, despite all the different spells used, Yatoro's still being allowed to hold on to the Chronos, and that's still something they have to be very conscious about on the side of Entity.
Yeah, we see a replay here, the Tornado into the meatball, beautiful, and Mars just waiting, Collapse. If there's a man who knows his timing right when he wants to blink in, I mean, we saw it last TI. Him getting to play on a hero like Mars, very similar to Magnus.
I thought for sure Marcy was dead. We had the spiders chewing on her. She had the remnants of the Jakiro spells. But yeah, Seeds of Serenity coming in clutch.
Yeah, keeps her alive. For now, it seems Entity are just trying to drag this game out as they can. Just split up and try to get towards any form of power spikes. So the closest thing they have is Pipe on the Broodmother. that will be a big impact when they get it. Suddenly, the magic damage, which is quite overwhelming on the side of Spirit right now, they can mitigate some of that. The spiders can stay alive. Oh, the travel in top.
They are. Will be able to find themselves 3 heroes. The immediate jump over onto Stormstormer. He's obliterated. An ice path comes out from Fishman. Try to slow them down a little bit. Collapse. I don't know if they're going to be able to grab. Nah, they're not going to be able to go and get their hands on the Jakira this time. But they do manage to hit the mid laner on the side of Entity, which is very valuable.
Yeah, they're giving them no respite here. The Entity want to get on the map and get some form of farm. They are gonna get mid tower, but even then, Miposhka comes in with his Enchantress and gets the deny against all these spiders. Beautiful lasted by Miposhka. So finally they get a tower, but not even that much tower gold going their way.
Loaded to the gills.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So let's check in with our cores. Looks like Yatro's got himself the Maelstrom, has already got the Treads, and is working on the BKB. And Pure over on the Naga does have the Manta style completed along with Treads. No
Yeah,
TP
and
on
almost
this one.
has, yeah, he almost has the Orchid as well. As he sends out here, he just needs the Void Stone as well. He has all the components. So Orchid will be a big power spike. Then they can try to get kills. But unfortunate for them, the BKB is already completed on the Void. So you won't have a timing where you have Orchid and he doesn't have a way to deal with it. There's already a safe dispel for him. And BKB on Invoker as well, so both of them are prepared.
Kosha sitting just very patiently. Toby has to realize that there are people on the way. Yeah, in fact, Toronto Tokyo does show up
I think
on the wave.
the draw, like the big takeaway for me from these games that we're watching here with Team Spirit is how they use their supports and where they stand. They are taking the areas that are dangerous and, in general, let their cores play in safe areas in a really good way.
Get themselves a Naga Steel using the Enchantress. You can see them, they know, they can see where Pure is. They're going to go for the invasion. Take away the creeps, not allow Pure to hit them. Collapse with that blink, looks for the opening, finds Stormstormer. The BKB comes up for Yatoro and they'll go and use that Chronosphere. Stop being able to do quite enough damage just yet over here to Stormstormer. They were hoping it'd be a quick pick, but there's Song gets used now as the rest of Team Spirit on the back foot. Poshka is gonna get netted. It looks like he's gonna end up possibly getting left behind. Wants to see if he can get the denial, but no, they'll still find it. The Stormhammer, oh, Collapse landing right next to Mira. This is looking a little scary now. Yatoro trying to slow them down. Nice spear away from Collapse. Will clean up some of these spider babies, but at the end of the day, he is spider baby food. And now
Kataomi is
Mira
catching more.
left behind. There's just too many heroes. That is a beautiful turnaround coming out from the side of Entity. And they get the silence off already Yatoro. Nice play here from Toronto Tokyo. A beautiful tornado. Well, they're all in a little line. Will be able to save Yatoro.
If he was not there on Toronto, I think that would have been Yatoro going down. He was trying to just stick around to get a Midas and farm one more creep camp, but he almost went down as well. Now Entity, immediately with the momentum of that win, are going to try to go into Roche Pits, get more for themselves. The respawns are coming out though. Doesn't seem like they're going to be quite in time. Spirit just a little bit too late. They TP down bottom. They recognize that this is going to be an Aegis going over on the side of Stormstormer on his Lesh. But that song was crucial. During the chrono there, they didn't have Ice Path anymore, so sadly they couldn't combo it afterwards, but keeping the Leshrac alive for so long there.
I have to say, Toronto Tokyo really on point with all of these tornadoes. We saw the in that last fight the way he was able to interrupt and then later on using it to save Yatoro. But yeah, that song really coming into play because they can't do as much damage as they would have liked against Stormstormer.
Yeah, they committed double BKB as well. They used the Invoker BKB and the Void to just try and DPS down the Leshrac, but couldn't quite finish the job. But now suddenly the game has swung a little bit in the favor of Entity, but still, of course, 6,000 gold advantage over on the side of Team Spirit. They will probably respect the Aegis for a little while, try to dodge and keep farming up. I love watching Yatoro's quick buy, by the way. When you watch him play, he puts like everything. He has his entire like Christmas wish list down here. It's like one Mjolnir, one Scotty, I want Aghanim Scepter, I want a Moon Shard. You know, throw in everything.
This is a man who probably has a very good Amazon wish list.
Probably. He's prepared.
Radiant's bottom
Spiders creeping over into this middle line. Quite a few of them, but Clap's waiting behind the tree line. And some pressure being placed by Toronto Tokyo on the bottom lane, but they're smoked up over on the side of Entity.
Yeah, I think they want to go over there. They're looking for any fight they can take right now since they have the Aegis advantage. Leshrac is very, very strong as well during this time. Again, Miposhka with the smoke reveal.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was about to say. The positioning of these supports so on point. It gives the cores enough time to be able to just hide and teleport out.
It's such a conscious decision they do a lot of the time. Whenever they feel like, okay, the enemy are probably smoking, it's just like, supports, you know what to do, to the ramps, you know, they put themselves on high ground, on the stairs, basically. But Entity, they might want to fight more. They're keeping Broodmother on high ground for a bit of vision here.
Do you have a BKB completed now for Mars? So more of these BKBs coming out for the side of Team Spirit.
And it won't be the last one. They want to go for one on Marcy as well. She only has the Ogre Club though. Definitely quite a way to go until she gets her BKB, but they are going for the quad BKB approach. That is a good way to counter Leshrac. I mean, so much of his damage is just magical anyway, so once you pop the BKBs, he has to just run around and be awkwardly waiting for them to run out. But you run one risk though. If you pop BKB and your teammates did not, then the song can come in and disjoint your BKB timings and prevent you from killing whatever you wanted. That's pretty much what we saw in the last fight.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It is a tricky line to walk, making sure that you activate the BKB before you go in for the initiation, but at the same time not wasting it and using it too early when that fight is not going to be as epic as you think it's going to be.
Yeah, we see a bit of a, finally for Entity, they equalize a bit and take over the top outpost here. They actually are in control of the bottom outpost as well right now. Team Spirits are waiting to take it back, or they're just hiding, staying off map right now. If they take it outpost, then they show their position as well, so then Entity will suddenly know exactly what's going on. So by not taking it, they are not giving any information for free.
Getting very close to finishing up the Scotty for Naga. I've already got 2 ultimate orbs.
Yeah, he's scaling up quite a bit, and it's not a bad game to have it. It does work as well as against the Time Walk. You actually heal less against the Eye of Scotty. Heal reduction works. Same way heal amplification works for Time Walk. So certainly not a bad game to go for it. Of course, you also just want stats so your illusions get strong enough and don't immediately die. I am happy we're not seeing the Radiance Naga, by the way. I have to say, I'm not a fan of the Manta first into Radiance second item. Or God forbid, the Radiance first item Naga. I'm not on board with that one.
I don't think we see that too often anymore, do we?
Oh, there's a trend right now. Naga Radiance is being played a lot across many different regions. But
Radiant's bottom tower.
I think the first item, Radiance, is the one that I have a big issue with. Going back for its second item, not really my preferred item, but it's, you know, I think it's decent then at least.
Yeah, I've seen him going for the second item Radiance. I haven't seen the first item Radiance, though, very often. But yeah. Oh, gosh.
Storm on
Okay,
that
alright,
board.
there's the opening. They find Stormer. Follow up with a Cataclysm, and he is just gonna just blow up as now Mira on the run. Would love to get their hands over onto Kataomi, but just a little bit too fast. So a nice pickoff going to the side of Team Spirit.
Yeah, that's
And
the
they can try to
Cataclysm
reclaim
reveal.
their jungle.
Big kill with the Cataclysm. They of course can combo it either with the Mars or with the Faceless Void quite easily. I suppose you could combo it even with Marcy if she lands a good good jump on someone. That's a little bit harder though.
Look at how fast Toronto Tokyo immediately TP'd to the bottom lane. While all this happened. They got the pick off, and then he headed bottom to try to push things out, and he finds himself Pure. Does Pure find him is the question, as they'll throw on the beef doll over at Fishman. That's a nice clean up. But they do pop the BKB.
Yeah,
Nice.
he
Oh, the spear over onto Toby. They found this Broodmother. They just need to close the gap. Looks like he's gonna be able to just crawl away.
Broodmother's gonna stay fine. Leshak is back now as well, but he does want to finish up his BKB on Lesh. I don't think he wants to fight just yet. Finally, they're gonna get the D ward, the ward that killed off Fishman there. Gets removed. I love that play by Invoker, because he saw that there was Pure on his Naga just farming, but he also knew that it doesn't matter. If I have BKB on Invoker, what can an Orchid Naga do to me? Nothing at all, so he just goes in, gets that kill on the support, keeps his vision alive a little bit longer, and then gets out.
This is a pretty dark map over for Spirit currently. There's a lot of sentry wards. You do have the one over here that just gets placed, the ops, but...
We have God Strength being popped to farm jungle a little bit. Speaks a bit for the pace of the game right now, but he wants to finish that Force Staff. The Force Staff is an item that we've seen more and more picked up lately for a lot of different teams in different drafts even.
Oh yeah. Very, very popular pickup as you see Yatoro. He'll put up with the silence and a net claps waiting nearby. Trying to be patient. Pops the BKB. Yatoro still alive and kicking the turn over onto Kataomi plus the Cataclysm. Will do plenty of damage, but Yatoro, he's not looking too healthy. Does pop his own BKB to try to survive. Draw to Tokyo though. Over on the side, dropping the Tornado EMP plus the Meatball over onto Toby. Insatiable hunger, but he just can't munch on anything as they give the clicks down. The song is going to get used by Pure. Looks like they're gonna try to run. Look at that long-range impetus tossed out.
Yeah, these team fights are not going the way that Entity want. They would probably want to try and like get a chance to set up with the song and then follow up with the Jakiro, but we have yet to see it where they have the luxury of doing that. A lot of fights are too scrappy where they can't really set it up the correct way. Mars taking pretty much no damage there as the Bulwark protects him.
He was not afraid of this Naga at all. Arcane Ring gets picked up by Mira. And again, Yatoro holding on to that Chronosphere.
Yeah, he also held on to his BKB for a long time there. He was not worried. I was a little bit worried for him as the Sven-Stun was coming in with the silence and the illusions hitting him, but he felt safe enough and trusted in his team.
I think that's a big part of
Loaded to the gills.
playing Dota is just having faith in your team to follow up and provide the saves, the damage, whatever.
Yeah, when you play at this level, you have to, you know, believe in your team for sure. We see most of Entity looking pretty active right now. They want to keep fighting around this Naga.
Mira, silenced, will become spider food.
Yeah, he jumped into way too much there. Fish and spider food at once.
Bit too aggressive.
Not the biggest of casualties, though. I think not too many tears gonna be shed as Yatoro keeps farming, hitting creeps. Pretty much off cooldown, just using this ulti and farming creeps in the jungle. Kataomi trying to scale up a little bit on his support.
Does have that Force Staff like we talked about. Claps though. Getting into
Watch out
position,
for
they're
the
smoked
chrono.
up. Very patient here. Roche gonna be up in about 36 seconds. You can see that Entity definitely want this this Aegis.
Yep.
Spirit,
They
though,
can use
very-
their spiders. Scout a little
Very
bit.
patient. The vision on Toby. Look at how fast Maposhka pops the sprites. Just like, no, 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 no. Worried that they're just gonna get the jump in. They have a lot of
Yeah.
vision. They've got a lot of information.
He has the gem as well on Miposhka, so he has reason to want to stay alive. Has the quiver on Ench. Very nice item for harassing from far away here. Illusions are shoving back most of Team Spirits. They're trying to move in, but of course the illusions reveal all of them.
They have a hill troll creep right now. Okay, they're gonna go for a little bit of initiation.
Oh,
But
this
Troll to
one-
Tokyo, just poking. Yatoro though, stuck here on the cliff for the moment. There's the rebound off from Mira. Jumping, and there it is. There's the Chronosphere, but the song coming into play. Still managing to get that Cataclysm off, because it wasn't quite over there fast enough. Looks like Mira, though, is going to take a lot of damage. She'll follow up now. Pure stuck in this arena. It's just getting clicked out. It's just so much damage again as they'll chase after Fishman. These impetus going long range. Buyback coming out from Naga. Stormstormer trying to stay alive. Doesn't have that BKB any longer. Yatoro still having it. He's getting a couple nice bashes, and these impetus again just dishing out damage. Turn back around with the tornado. The buyback from Stormstormer. Look at Kataomi. Toby just getting clicked down as they're gonna try to teleport back, and Pure is here, Stormstormer is here. Poposhka looking a little bit scared, but yeah, here we go. Collapse left behind, does have the net on him. It's not looking too great, but on the back lines, they find themselves Stormstormer. It's a triple kill now for Yatoro, and now this is looking very scary for Pure because he's got to go toe-to-toe, but Toby is doing the damage. They'll still manage to get the kill. Now Toby, RC, oh my god, they can't kill Yatoro. He is just too survivable.
I think they call it on that.
They call GG.
Yeah, that was... Naga got caught out a little bit too deep. She was using the song there to try and let her team kill off the Marcy while she held the rest. But at the end of the song, he just gets immediately arena'd by Mars there and gets brought down very, very quickly. And Team Spirit looking like the stronger team in both these games here. And pretty fast win for Game 2 and Game 1. They looked pretty confident too. So let's see, Spirit are showing up in good form here. I would say that Entity, they seemed a little bit more like a stressed team than usual, but perhaps when you play against Spirit, they make you stress out a bit as well. There are a lot of small things that gave them an edge in the second game here. I think the trading before on the runes, getting some damage onto the Broodmother who tried to check the top bounty rune, and then she's late to the top lane, leaving her to completely get dominated and last hit by Collapse. There's a lot of minor things that just made this game more difficult for them.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Team Spirit have a good grasp on just like some of the smaller, finer tuned details, which makes sense. You know, again, they are the current reigning champions from TI10. And Entity, you know, they have been making a lot of progress throughout this DPC. They're looking stronger and stronger. But again, this is TI. This is where the nerves start to kick in a little bit. You've got a little bit different of a patch. I don't know if this necessarily is the most comfortable patch for the side of Entity either. But it is just one of those things where, you know, you're playing up against Team Spirit, and these guys, they're good for a reason.
Yeah, Entity actually have said they really liked last patch, but they also said that they like this patch perhaps even more. So they are quite confident in the patch itself, but I think Team Spirit just had a better showing here. They played really, really good, and I think out of all the teams that we have seen so far in the games that I've watched, have not seen any team use their supports as well as Team Spirit do. I think their impact in teamfights is huge. I think their impact outside of teamfights is absolutely enormous. The way they block a lot of the moves from their enemy team. I think the key to shutting down Spirit is going to be understanding how to counter their support play.
That's definitely something to think about. Seeing Maposhka on this Enchantress, just the amount of support given, and also just the damage that he can do to this hero. Looks very, very good. Again, they were allowed to have the Marcy being one of those heroes that has been banned pretty consistently. One of the most banned, I believe, or at least most contested. So that probably also did not help for Entity.
She pops in here from the banned dimension to get a little bit of a win again, of course. I mean, Marcy is such a strong hero. I think if you're gonna slip her through the first phase picks, then you have to have a very solid plan of how to deal with her. And I just didn't really see it from the draft that Entity put up here. I think Marcy still had to be banned. They did ban out the Nyx because they wanted to play Leshrac. It's understandable, but I think maybe you could ban Marcy first phase, wait with the Lesh pick for second phase, and, you know, like approach it differently if the Nyx is a problem. I don't think he's a bigger problem than Marcy would be.
You can see the final fight going down, the triple kill for Yatoro, and it looks like he gets so low, like he's silenced up, but he's able to time walk just away in the nick of time, and then he's got the side kick, just heals up. There's the GG call. And I think one thing that's really interesting for me too, you know, we talk about these supports being so integral, but also how fast that Team Spirit tends to respond and make decisions. I thought that was very interesting too. I think there was one fight where they got a smoke gank off, they got the kill, and immediately you just see Toronto Tokyo teleport away down to the bottom lane, start pushing out waves, waiting patiently, knows that Pure is going to be there eventually, but also that the supports are there, and the decision making just feels like it's lightning fast.
It's lightning fast. I also love that you mentioned that, because Toronto Tokyo, we were talking about his Invoker as well, and how, you know, he dominated last TI with his Invoker a lot, and he was integral to Team Spirit's success, usually with the Quas Wex Invoker though. Here he got to shine with his Exort Invoker, and his stats, look at that. 15, 0, and 10 in this game. Didn't die a single time, had a perfect game on Invoker, and yeah, this was quite the showing. So much synergy between him and Collapse and Yatoro, of course. Definitely a standout performance by Emir, and Yatoro also didn't die a single time, so game 2 was just quite handedly in Team Spirit's pocket from the start to finish.
Yeah, you can see just the lightning fast decision making, and again, that is something especially associated with these Invoker players who have to have all their spells queued up right away. You can see 23k hero damage with this Quas Exort Invoker. Lots of net worth in those last hits too. I always think it's really fun to watch Invoker players. Like, we do get the opportunity with the cams, and you can just see how hyper-focused they are. 92.6% kill participation with a 845 experience per minute and very nice GPM, so...
Yeah, they actually had two players with over 800 over 800 experience per minute there in that game. The two Midases on Faceless, Void, and Invoker. Both of them bought Midas. None of them died. Is Midas OP item? Is this why? Buy one now. Find out.
Yeah, it's looking very, very in the hands of Spirit. They knew exactly how they wanted to play their game, their item timings, their positioning, just looking absolutely ace here. But I know that we've had a great time watching this match. There's going to be another match here in a little bit, but we're going to have a check-in with our wonderful panel.
Spirit up against Entity, with Spirit taking that a nice clean 2 games, I would say. So if you are an Entity fan out there, then Game 1, you might not want to go back and have a look at if you were watching it. Kaz, looking at the draft, could you kind of tell from the start it was going to go that way?
Maybe not fully, but something that I really liked Team Spirit do was actually they picked up the Lifestealer. I haven't seen that many good answers to the Pudge, but I feel like I did in this game. They had Teamfight from Pango, Nyx was very annoying. Collabs, once again, is just an outstanding player. He played great on the Beastmaster. And then throughout the game, Stormstormer had a lot of trouble kind of dealing with the Pango and Beast. And then eventually Yatoro with the buffs, nice items, good matchup against Pudge. He just slapped the game open.
Game 2 really not looking, much better for Entity.
Yeah, I mean, they went for the Brood approach, so they ended up picking the Brood Mother. Team Spirit did a great thing where they put the Mars against the Brood instead of putting their Void against the Brood Mother. So they went to an aggro trialing situation. Then from there, they really set up Toronto Tokyo for success. They had the Faceless Void, they had the Arena from Collapse's Mars, they went for the Ags build and the Sunstrike, and Toronto Tokyo just popped off that game.
And they also had the audacity to go double Midas and stop. Both guys unkilled this game. You go 508 on Yatoro, you've got 15-0-10 on the Invoker. Man, like double Midases and still hitting your timings and ending the game in 33 minutes. That's pretty hot.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to go all out. It
Yep.
works for Spirit, so good on them. Definitely a 2-0 that they wanted and they needed. A-Stream, though, we are very ahead of what is happening over on B, C, D, E, and we, the panel, are here to run down what has happened on those other streams. This Liquid Sonics Game 2, Kazu, walk me through it and tell me sort of why the series went the way it did.
This game was an insane, like, back and forth, but overall good showing from Sonics. You know, their first series not so good. This one definitely better. I think both drafts and gameplay for them worked out a lot more. Here in this clip, what I want to show is Quinn, who gets a 3-man shield crash with this 6% damage reduction, Magic Wand, Raindrop, so they get to turn this fight around. This is just, you know, a small clip from the early game where they get to turn things around. It also gave them a big lead in their early game. And then moving forward, we're skipping way far ahead because there were so many things in this game. But what's important in this clip is just this first pickoff on Lelis, who does not have buyback. But the most important thing is I want people to pay attention to Matu, who's playing the Naga Siren. He has buyback and Boots of Travel level 2. What's very important is that Sonic, they're currently lacking buybacks on a lot of their cores. You can see Pango has no buyback, Brood has no buyback, and Snap is out of buyback. So now Matu goes into the fight. They're all using their BKB's Pango roll to kill him. But watch, once he dies. He has Boots of Travel 2. Immediate buyback, his team stays around. Now he TPs in, which is a very short cooldown because they buffed it recently. And boom, they take this fight. Now they kill the heroes without buyback. In this game was back and forth, and then in one fight, the whole game basically just ended.
Seeing how long, I guess, this game is gone, seeing that timer up the top there of the highlight clips, because do you think they could have closed out a lot more? There were just opportunities Sonics weren't able to close out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think both teams had opportunities to actually, you know, close out the game, but they both messed up a little bit on the enemy high ground, and then the game drags out.
Yeah, a little bit
Simple
of
as that.
cleaning up. Yeah, simple as that. A little bit of cleaning up needed from both of them. We also had the D-Stream do OG up against GG. Fia, you got our highlights for that game number 2.
I do. Starting with the draft here, we're kind of going to see that they have the Razor again from Mar. They left Morphling in the pool. They did not care. There's a hard counter to the Razor, but OG's just going to play the OG style. Lamar is still on the Razor. And then moving on to the next clip, we're going to see here, there's going to be a fight. You're going to see Morph just use his Manta style there. Yuragi comes in the back, silences him, nets him right away. Very crucial kill with the Aegis here. It was a really nice play by Yuragi to make that read. His team ends up tipping him as well. And then in this fight,